We moved here from California and bought the property on the lake that was named this word that to me meant Indian maiden or Indian woman. That's what we learned growing up. But my husband Mike and I, we love the property so much that the name became inconsequential.
All right. See, I'm the first mate. He's the captain. Oh, Captain, my captain.
I hadn't been living here very long before it came up that the lake was under consideration for a change. However, nothing came of it. No one ever followed through. I had not thought about this issue in many, many years. And one of my neighbors, Tom Molson Jr., told me about the proposal to change the name of the lake. I immediately sat up straight and said, yes, Tom, I'm very interested in this.
When I first addressed this issue, my daughters were around, seeing them growing up in the atmosphere of that word and them dealing with it with the high school down here, being that it integrated of tribal members and kids in the community. I pushed for it to be changed as the fact that I go past it every day. And when my granddaughter was born, I decided at that moment that she was not going to know that that name existed.
This is my granddaughter, Wawatesi. Her name means firefly.
There are people out there that resist change. I knew that. Living here and just knowing the people that I needed to contact to get things moving.
Tom came over to my house and I stood beside him to go for this changing because it's degrading to us. It's not a good name for women. It stems back from a long time ago when the people would come here, especially the men that would say derogatory things to the Indian women.
We don't know how it became the name Squaw, but I know for a long, long time it was very derogatory towards our women. One of our relatives here, Tom Molson Jr., came and approached us. We took it from there and we went to the Wisconsin Geographical Name Change Board, and our council signed a resolution, filled out the paperwork, and we had to have a name for it at that time. So the Ojibwe name for a woman is Ikwe, I-K-W-E, and that's what we put on the petition, and the residents did not want that name on there. So we told them that was the name we used just to file a petition.
This is a map of Lac de Flambeau, the Indian reservation. In the lower left-hand corner, it's penciled 1896. It does indicate Squaw on there, if that was the correct year. One thing that we all agreed on was that we didn't like the name that had been chosen. Ikwe was the name, and it means woman. We thought, well, if the name of the lake has to change, then let's give the residents a chance to pick a name rather than having it dictated to them what it was going to be. I was getting phone calls, I was getting emails, and what I was hearing from them was different reasons for them being against this. I had to establish communications again with John Johnson, who was the new tribal chairman. We really connected well, and I was optimistic that perhaps we could get the tribe to amend their petition and let the residents select a name.
We invited them to our council, some of their board members, they met with us, and We had long discussions, and they said it was a long time coming.
I heard from the women on the tribal council especially about what that name really represented to them, and you could see it was visceral. It hurt them. You could just feel it. Even though everybody was wearing masks, you could see it and feel it that this was something that really had been hurtful to them for a long time. They just did not want that name Squaw on a lake anymore.
They wanted to use a different name, so their Lakes Association had a meeting, and that's what they came up with the name Amber.
Given the past history of our people, it seemed like we're always fighting for something, you know. I was really happy when I heard that it was going to change to Amber Lake. As an Indigenous woman, we are to be respected, loved, and cherished, you know, as life givers.
There were others who actually wrote letters to me in response to a letter I put out trying to educate people on this issue that said, if you don't like the name of the lake, move. Or why did you buy your property here if you thought the lake name was so offensive? Others who just say, hey, it doesn't offend me, what's your problem? But my key thing is, how can you be aware of the fact that this term is offensive to so many people, not just Native people? How can you be aware of that and still deny it and still hold on to your own beliefs? And I likened it to the N-word and, of course, the C-word, both of which are banished from decent vocabulary and decent behavior. But we have an opportunity to right a wrong. Once you learn something is offensive, it doesn't change just because it doesn't offend you. We have faced some backlash. What they did is, you see where these are what the posts are out there, and someone came with a sawzall and went zzz, zzz on both of the signs. This is the first time that they've actually been vandalized. It is my sincere hope that they understand it and support it, because I don't feel like we can live peacefully until they do.
As far as that word is concerned, it's not over. I'm hoping that people understand what that word actually means and how it affects Native women.
We got to have some good in common no matter what race we are. We all got to collaborate, and we all got to respect one another's wishes.
I think of our generations to come and to leave a good legacy for them to know that they can walk with pride.
It was very important to the people of the Lac de Flambeau Band that this natural resource be named in a respectful, non-offensive way.